Yo, still bills, what's the deal, man? Yo, I'm just fresh off the clockage, man. Shit. Fresh off the clock, heading to the concert, man. So peep gang, let's get into this shit, man. I'm hearing I've been like I've heard a source, one of my guys on Facebook told me he had a source of Canelo fighting Jaime Mungia for Cinco de Mayo next year. And this is before, the news it broke. I'm not a fan of it, man. I'm not a fan of it at all. I made a video talking about that, man. I made a video talking about that. So what I want to say is, I hope John Ryder go in there and beat the ever living shit out of Jaime Munguia, so we don't got to get that fight. I hope that so it's not etched in stone. It's not etched in stone, but I know for a fact if John Ryder goes in there and eviscerates this man, he's definitely not getting another shot at Canelo. He's definitely not getting another shot at Canelo. So who else would it is? Who else would you have to turn to? You dig what I'm saying? I know I was listening to Ring IQ. Shout out to Julius in the panel. He was saying that this is somewhat of a, not necessarily a litmus test, but just kind of somewhat of a carbon copy to prep it for a David Benavidez, which I don't think he necessarily needs it because he's been in front of far more complex opponents than a David Benavidez, and he's beat them. So he doesn't need someone like a Jaime Munguia to prep him for a David Benavidez. He honestly doesn't, man. But I understand the money aspect of the fight as well. I understand that, Cinco de Mayo weekend, two Mexican nationals fighting. That's a big deal. And I would be, from that standpoint, from that paradigm, it's understandable, man. But it's just not a fight that's sought after like that, especially when there's so many other 168 pounders who are in the queue and far more deserving of a fight with Canelo Alvarez, bro. I'd much rather see him in there with a Christian Mobility than a fucking Jaime Munguia. Even though financially that fight doesn't make as much sense as a Jaime Munguia, I would much rather see that shit. I would much rather see him in there with David Morrell. There's no fight outside of a David Benavidez fight that's as financially understanding and comprehensive as Canelo versus Jaime Munguia. There's no fight out there for Canelo that would equate to that. Maybe a rematch with Dimitri Bivol, possibly just because they want to see Canelo lose again. So that may make sense financially, man. But there's no other fight outside of that would equate to Jaime Munguia versus Canelo than David Benavidez versus Canelo Alvarez. So I understand it. I definitely understand it, man. But this is what happens when you niggas run with narratives once again, Brody. This is what happens. He didn't fight Mexicans. He said he don't want to fight Mexicans. Now he's fighting the Mexicans. Y'all niggas got issues with it, man. Motherfuckers just need to learn to shut the fuck up and stop trying to formulate narratives, bro, and stay on the side of truth. You can have your discrepancies with Canelo Alvarez, man, but these fighters hear what the fuck is being said on these social media waves, bro. You can't get by that. I would not doubt if my insignificant ass channel has come across the attention of a boxer that I've talked about before, whether it's an entire video that they watched or somebody that they know has watched it and they relayed the message to them, man. On social media, I said it before. On social media, I've talked. I got my. I say what I say on social media. You dig? I'm not. I'm not one of them dudes who jumps out the window and who call a fighter a bum. I'm not into none of that. But I'm very standoffish with people propagating certain fighters to formulate a narrative, and I'm standoffish on it to the point where I'm highlighting their inadequacies as a fighter. Just certain shit that they don't do as good as the individual that they swear to God they will beat. And I was talking about the Charlos one point in time. I wonder, man, you always hating on the bros, you clown. Like, man, shut up. Fuck out of here. But the point is, you don't think that nigga who has seen me say some shit about them before has relayed their messages to the Charlo twins? I'm sure he has. So the point is, they hear everything that you goofy niggas is on here saying. Y'all ran with it's niggas who don't give a fuck about no Mexicans talking about how come he don't want to fight no other Mexicans? How come he don't want to fight no other Mexicans? Now that he's going to fight in the only Mexican national-wise, the only Mexican national at or around his weight class is not a Chicano, even though they're the same thing. Even though they're the same thing, they're definitely the same thing. But he's fighting a Mexican national, and y'all are taking issue with that. Y'all are taking issue with that. Oh, like, just it's stupid. So because you niggas running your mouths now, and not just y'all, the Benavidez's as well. David and his daddy running their goddamn mouth, and now we're in a position where we gotta wait a whole another 11 months to possibly get that fight. I don't want to see Canelo versus Jaime Mungia. I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see that shit. And it's not a foregone conclusion, but I have no doubt in my mind if this is being talked about, John Ryder is going to have to go in there and put on the performance of a lifetime in order to get a split decision if he doesn't knock him out. I'm talking he needs to be in the gym right now, really working on exploiting the deficiencies in Jaime Mungia's game. And I think he's the man for the job. I definitely do. If Sergey Derevianchenko had him looking that pedestrian at 168 pounds, when Sergey Derevianchenko hasn't had but one or two fights up there, I have no doubt in my mind that John Ryder can go in there and violate this dude. So I'm going to need him to do that. The fact that this dude is even fighting a John Ryder speaks to his level of putrid opposition. And John Ryder is a good fighter, but he's a fighter that's coming off of a loss. And I don't think that should necessarily be, oh man, he off a loss. Like, everybody don't lose confidence just off of a loss. I mean, motherfuckers, it is what it is. I'm ready to get back up there and mix. Just because he beat me don't mean you can beat me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at that. All situations aren't, you can't paint them with a broad stroke. So I don't think John Ryder is a dude who's, lacking confidence. But for Jaime Mungia, they see an advantage there. You want to fight this dude like it isn't a play. Even on DAZN, bro, like, who they got on DAZN? You couldn't get in there with Beck? Beck is fresh. Beck just beat the shit out of Atlantis Fox. You can't get in there with Beck in January. That's what he fought Atlantis earlier this month. October, November, December, January. That's a 3-month turnaround, bro. You can't get in there and run that shit with him. You want to wait? Come on, man. I don't know, man. Jaime be doing goofy shit to me. They do goofy shit. And anytime they can see an advantage, that it's like all right, cool, yeah, strike while the iron is hot. And in his case, iron ain't hot, it's cold. It don't gotta be. It may not. It may turn out not to be that way, but shit, you know what I'm saying? The nigga fresh off a loss. And a brutal loss. Bro got his nose broke. What the fuck is niggas talking about? And the other thing is just this, this competition shit they got with this dude to show that they can beat the fighters that he's either beat or lost to better than he beat them. Like, that shit is ridiculous to me. And Benavidez is he's on camera talking about he want to jump up to 175 pounds to go and fight Bivol. Like, no, you don't. You don't want to jump up there and fight no goddamn Dimitri Bivol. You ain't want to jump up and fight Artur Beterbiev when you was a fucking mandatory for him. But I'm to believe you want to go up there and fight them too. Man, stop playing. And you want to fight them because those were the names attached to Canelo Alvarez. Beterbiev, not immediately, but they were talking about getting a unification match with him if he was to beat Bivol. So now you giddy to get up there and fight Beterbiev. And now you giddy up there to fight motherfucking... Like, man, stop playing. I see this shit. It's goofy to me. It's the goofiest shit in the world. So while I'm not excited about the Jaime Mungia fight, I definitely get it, man. I definitely. And one more thing, man. A lot of you niggas, it's a lot of people who got something to say about Canelo fighting Jaime Mungia. I'm with you. I don't want to see this fight. I legitimately do not want to see this fight. I think it's better fights out there to be made, but I'm not entirely mad at the fight. But for you niggas out there that's oh man, all he do is duck and cherry pick and this and that and the third and yada yada yada. Did y'all feel that way when Jaime Mungia was when Andre was gunning him down? When Andre was chasing Jaime Mungia down to get and begging that nigga to get a fight, was y'all talking that shit to him? No, y'all wasn't. Why are these fighters so great for everybody else, but they're cherry picking for the ginger? You did like this is why I don't allow a lot of you dudes to get off with saying the shit that y'all say because it's asinine. I'm not favorable of the Jaime Mungia versus Canelo Alvarez fight, but anybody who is a Demetrius Andre fan and they shame Jaime Mungia for not taking that mandatory fight with Demetrius Andre, I don't want to hear shit from y'all. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear a fucking thing from y'all. These fights are good enough for other fighters not named Canelo Alvarez. Caleb Plant was a fucking cherry pick when Canelo fought him in a unification bout, but he's the cream of the crop. He's the cream of the crop for David Benavidez. Oh, look how David Benavidez did him. He the truth, the Mexican monster. He did him worse than Canelo did. All that. I'm like, yo, this shit is dumb. This shit is dumb. Golovkin, oh man, he fought an old Golovkin. He ain't, man, you cherry picking. All right, yeah, that's all fine and dandy. Was he the same old washed Golovkin when Charlo was gunning for him and when Andre was gunning for him? Let's keep the same fucking energy. That's all I'm asking. You can have your issues with Canelo Alvarez. I'm not mad at it, but you cannot sit there in the same breath and say that this fight is a cherry pick for Canelo Alvarez, but it's a good fight for a Demetrius Andre or a Charlo or a Benavidez when y'all swear by these niggas. Y'all swear these are the kryptonite for Canelo Alvarez and the fighters they're asking for and begging for, and in one instance getting, y'all praise the victory once they win. Y'all praise the victory once they win. You put David Lemieux in front of Canelo Alvarez, he had got, they had eviscerated him for beating the shit out of a David Lemieux. They'd have got on his ass behind that shit, but Benavidez goes in there and does what he was supposed to do from, oh, Canelo better stay away from him. I see why Canelo don't want that drama with him. Like, yo, make up your fucking minds, bro. God damn. The shit is annoying. Nobody is keeping the same energy. You can have an issue with this fight because I definitely do. But don't dare sit up there and talk about motherfuckers that y'all swear will beat the shit out of Canelo Alvarez getting the same fights that he's fighting in, and y'all praise them for it and y'all denigrate him for it. Keep the same fucking energy. If Jaime Mungia is good enough for Demetrius Andre, and Demetrius Andre is a dude y'all swear to everything living, y'all swear to the Most High, y'all swear to Allah, whatever y'all want to call him, her, or it. Y'all swear Andre is the nigga to beat Canelo Alvarez. So if he is good enough for Demetrius Andre, he's good enough for Canelo. If David Lemieux is good enough for David Benavidez in a victory, Golovkin, an old Golovkin, the same David Lemieux was washed. Now, he did not belong at 168 pounds. If that's a good enough victory for David Benavidez, the dude who beat the shit out of him first and took a belt off him, is good enough for him. It's good enough for him. So I don't want to hear from you niggas. I don't want to hear from y'all because y'all don't keep the same fucking energy. Y'all don't keep the same fucking energy, bro. And that's why it's hard to sit here and listen to y'all. That's why you can't take the shit that y'all got to say about Canelo Alvarez with any sort of seriousness. You got to take it with a grain of salt, man. He ain't talking about nothing. He ain't talking about nothing. If these was rationally minded individuals, I would definitely be in your corner when it comes to this Canelo Alvarez versus Jaime Mungia fight. I definitely would be. Why? Because I don't like the fight. I don't like that he can get, he can jump in front of everybody already in the queue. I don't like that shit. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But I'm a man with reason. I'm a man with reason. I don't have to. I don't have to overtly praise a fighter that I'm a supporter of in all of his endeavors. I can be a detractor in certain decisions that he's making or she's making. I can say I don't like that fight and still be a supporter of him. Y'all can't do that. Y'all can't do that. I don't even see as much people clapping at David Benavidez for not going and gunning at David Morrell. Give me Demetrius Andre. It makes sense. I'm not mad at it. Demetrius Andre is a higher profile fighter as far as status is concerned in the sport. I understand it. I definitely understand it. What I don't understand is why is he not getting the same level of cynicism that Canelo gets? That's what I want to know. And nobody has the answers for me. Nobody has the answers for me. I've seen one dude, Knockout Boxing 86. Shout out to Knockout Boxing. You know, a lot of my guys from up here. Shout out to the motherfucking apostles, Cam the Baptist, Goose, Sugar J. Wish you all the, the success in your future career as you carve up the man, and you carve up competition in the amateurs and all that. Omaha, Nebraska representatives, I fucks with y'all. And I'll be on y'all panel next time y'all go live. But they've had a few debates on his channel or whatever, man. So I fuck with Knockout Boxing. I fuck with Knockout Boxing. I respect his analysis and I respect his level of logic as it pertains to the sport. But he is one of the only few content creators that I know who is a fan of David Benavidez and a fan of PBC and a fan of PBC fighters who is said to be known. He's running from David Morrell. He ducking. He ducking. Everybody else you don't hear say that. Everybody else is so fixated on Canelo and David Benavidez, y'all will completely disregard the wild shit that David Benavidez is doing as it pertains to David Morrell. And just like I wasn't as mad as Demetrius Andre moving up to fight Zach Parker instead of Yanni Beck, I'm not mad at David Benavidez not fighting David Morrell when there's a bigger fight on the horizon. They're both high. I think Demetrius Andre is, lower risk than a David Morrell because he's fresher and he's fully acclimated to the division and he has a skill set that Andre doesn't necessarily have, which is punching power. Andre isn't known as a big puncher. You got skill set, youth. You're a southpaw. He has all that at his disposal. Yeah, man, just bring on. Demetrius Andre is a fighter that makes more sense anyway. Former world champion, 2-division world champion. Yeah, bring me Andre. This makes sense. I'm not mad at it. I get it. I ain't knocking it. I ain't knocking it at all. But if you're going to call shit down the middle, you got to call that shit out. You got to call out him not wanting to, you got to call out him not wanting to deal with goddamn David Morrell right now. So stop that fucking bullshit, Brody. I should not have to get on here and look, be some sort of cheerleading fanboy. That's the energy that I give off to a lot of detractors of Canelo. But when when you think logically and rationally, and you can unpack situations in its totality, you're gonna to somebody where a surface level truth is more comforting and soothing to them, you're gonna look like the fanboy. You're gonna look like a cocksocket to them niggas. Because the truth is not in them. They don't want nothing to do with the truth, man. They like being the detractors that they are. So when you can fully unpack a situation, that's how you look to them. But I don't give a fuck. But I shouldn't have to come on here and look like that. Y'all should be mature enough and if you're a fan of boxing, you see the bullshit that's going on. You can see the bullshit that's going on. Canelo is supposed to honor mandatories. Demetrius Andre doesn't have to fight his. When he goes and looks in the other direction, that's acceptable. Oh, ain't nobody, and Johnny Beck ain't nobody. Johnny Beck ain't nobody. He ain't nobody. He ain't nobody. He ain't fought nobody. Neither is Demetrius Andre. He a bum, man. Johnny Beck is a bum. He a Euro bum. That's all Demetrius Andre has fought, Brody. That's all he's fought. But when Canelo does it, he on a Euro bum tour. What are these dudes that y'all swear by? What are they on? Because they ain't sliding through the ghettos of America or Mexico or Puerto Rico. They not going and fighting them dudes from there. They going right on the same European tour with Canelo Alvarez. All I'm saying is keep the same fucking energy, Brody. If you didn't have an issue with Jaime Mungia fighting goddamn Demetrius Andre, don't talk to me about Jaime Mungia versus Canelo Alvarez. You didn't have an issue with goddamn David Benavidez fighting David Lemieux years after Golovkin went in there and smacked fire out of him. And when both of them was washed, then don't talk to me about Canelo going in there and crashing Golovkin. Don't talk to me about it. Financially, it made sense. That pay-per-view did over 1 million buys. It made sense. It made sense. I'm not a fan of this fight with Jaime Munguia. I'm not. But I'm objective enough to where I can say that shit and point out the fucking holes in your logic and argument with all you other niggas. Y'all niggas can't do that. Y'all can't do that. So I don't want to see him versus Jaime Munguia, but I'm not about to let y'all niggas talk to me about it when Jaime Munguia, he gets berated because he fucked Andre out of an opportunity of a notable name on his resume, man. I ain't got nothing else to say about it, Brody. I'm going in the crib, man. Y'all stay righteous. I get what y'all in the morning. Deuces.